Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my disabled mother because she plays favorites with my sibling? My mother suffers from a disability and as such is permanently bedridden. I'm the only person who lives with her in the family house. She has support workers who come by throughout the day to help with hygiene and showering. However, I help with absolutely everything else. Cooking, paying bills, errands, organizing home maintenance, checking emails, making her comfortable in bed, shopping, managing investments, etc. I do not get paid by the government to be her carer, nor does she pay me, or in any other real way even show her appreciation. She feels entitled to my help, and it's really a thankless job. As part of managing her finances, I logged into her online banking to notice almost $100,000 was missing from her savings account. And further inspection, the money was sent to my sister. So I asked my sister about it, and she told me our mother gifted it to her to buy a highly spec'd Tesla. I was livid by this. Mother has always treated sister as the favorite. Apart from this gift, she has probably given her over $100,000 in other things over the past few years, which I never got. For example, I had to pay for my first car, whereas she got a brand new one paid for. When I moved to college, I had to pay for it myself, whereas my mother, who is wealthy, paid for her to have a premium unit. I burst into my mother's room, going on about how I'm sick of the favoritism, how unfair it is because children should be treated equally, and how she has never known appreciation for the sacrifices I made to be her de facto carer. For example, I can't leave the house overnight, which rules out all holidays, for example. And it's been like this for 5 years since my father died. Initially, I asked if she had any intention of giving me $100,000 to make up for it, and she said no. During our 30-minute argument, she never directly answered how it was fair, instead asking questions like, "Do you feel like you've missed out?" among other questions. It reached boiling point and she ultimately said, "It's my money and I'll spend it on whatever I want." I said, "Fine, I won't be helping you at all anymore." I have now ignored all of my mother's texts for help over the past 2 weeks. I've heard from my sister she's now looking at full-time residential care due to my lack of assistance, which people in my country do as a very last resort as the residents are neglected, fed poorly, and there's no sense of it being your home. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Let your sister step up for once. Tell mommy dearest that her golden child can care for her, because you sure as heck won't be. This is what I came to say. Let the golden child have her. She can drive over in her shiny new car. Right, I love how as soon as she stopped doing everything, the favorite one was like, put her in a crappy senior home. Stat. That's the one the mom chose. Not the a-hole. I think you should have just left without the big blowout. However, if she's intent on playing favorites to this degree, she has no one to blame but herself. She can spend her money how she likes, and you can live your life how you want. Take this opportunity and do that. Not the a-hole. I think you should have just left without the big blowout. It took the blowout for mom to finally admit there was no mistake, and Opie is seen as less than her sister. It was valuable. There's no longer any ambiguity. Opie doesn't have to worry there was some kind of misunderstanding on mom's part, or some kind of manipulation on sister's part. Both mom and sister are totally fine with Opie carrying all the burden without any of the thanks. She's right. It's her money and she can do what she wants with it. But it's your life, and that means you can do what you want with that. And you are in no way obligated to spend that life catering to the whim of a woman who treats you like her personal slave. Let your sister sort this one. See how long the sister sticks around when she realizes all your mom's money is being spent on cares rather than your sister. No, she can't. You can't rack up huge bills and force one daughter to do all the labor and then gift the other daughter huge amounts of money. Opie's owed money for all the unpaid labor. If the mom didn't have the money and this was done out of love, sure, but mom has the money and is refusing to pay her caretaker. Next story. Am I the a-hole for removing all of my fiancé's certificates from the wall after he took down my daughter's dog picture? Me, female 34, and my fiancé, male 36, got engaged 2 months ago. I own the house we currently live in, but after he moved in, he started helping out with the mortgage payment. I have a daughter, Ruby, female 12. She adores animals. She had about 7 pets so far in her life. Unfortunately, her dog Tick passed away. He was her closest friend and favorite pet. It was devastating for me as well because he was so precious. As a way to honor him, I've printed a middle-sized picture of him, Ruby's favorite, and put it in a frame and hanged the frame in the living room wall. Ruby was so happy with it, especially since she gets to see him smiling at her when she walks in. It gives her comfort. My fiancé saw it and got upset. He commented on how strange it was to have the dog's picture up on the wall and how much distraction it brings. I felt puzzled because we have all kinds of pictures that were hanging on that wall. He suggested we remove it, but I ignored him. One day, I got home and saw that he's taken it down. Ruby was in her room crying holding the picture. I asked what happened, and she told me that my fiancé took the picture off and told her she's not allowed to have it hung up there. I also told her to keep it in her room if she didn't want to lose it for good. I was shocked. I rushed out and immediately started taking down all the certificates he had on that wall. His doctorate, master's, and bachelor's degrees, and about 4 to 5 other certificates as well. All of them I took down and put it in the bedroom. He discovered what I did and snapped at me and said that it's his house as well and I should respect his input. In my defense, I told him that since my daughter has to keep it in her room, then he too has to keep his certificates in his room according to his logic. He yelled at me demanding that I stop nagging him and acting childishly and spitefully. He wanted to put them back up, but I refused and said that if he does that, then Tech's picture will be put back up as well. He yelled about how I disrespected him at his achievements and treated them as trash and then stormed out. He's been giving both me and Ruby the cold shoulder for days now, saying he won't speak to either of us till we apologize and put those certificates back up on the wall ourselves. Not Day Hall. He doesn't want equal say. He wants a dictatorship. It's clear that he will continue to hurt your daughter behind your back. I will reevaluate my relationship. He told me it's his house too now, so he should be able to have a say in it. I find this illogical because he's only paid 2 months' worth of mortgage. Unlike me who put all my savings and sold important items to be able to get this house. He is trying to take over what you have achieved. You need to think hard about what life will look like for you and your daughter going forward is. This is only 2 months in. What is her emotional well-being worth to you? This is so important. It's not just a relationship now. Opie's daughter will remember forever how her mom handles this man. Plus, if Opie dies, do you think this man will take care of your child? Or will he just sell your house, keep the money, and cart your kid off somewhere? I knew someone who had 3 children, owned her own home. 2 kids to 1 man and 1 from previous relationship. She married a father of 2 and he was distant and cold to the non-bio child. However, he wasn't as bad outwardly to the non-bio child as your fiancé was to your child. Not until the mom died unexpectedly at 42, and he told the 15-year-old non-bio kid that he had a month to get out. He moved a new woman into the house and raised his bio children there, and the 15-year-old wasn't allowed to see his siblings. Lost his mom, siblings, and home all in the same month. He lived with a maternal aunt on her sofa for a few years as she had no space for him. Not Day Hall. He took a picture of your grieving child's dog, threatened her, told you that your house is also his, yelled at you, and demanded an apology. If you marry this abusive man, you and your daughter are going to have a miserable life. Exactly. He's shown her who he is. It's time she makes a decision and drops this miserable man out of her life. Opie, please hear this. There will be many days where you come home and find your daughter crying. Please don't put her or yourself through that. Also, please know your daughter will grow up. And remember that this man mattered more to you than she did, unless you show her that's not true. Sticking around in this scenario may also have an unintended impact on her future relationships. Do you really want her to land in a relationship like the one you have with your fiancé? Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for choosing to not get involved when my daughter threw away my wife's shampoo collection? I, 39, got married to my wife Nellie, 36, months ago. I have to say that Nellie and my daughter, her stepdaughter, Megan, 16, never gotten along. They have lots of disagreements, had nothing in common, and it was obvious since the first day they met. But I didn't do anything about it, thinking they'd move past their differences and warm up to each other the longer they spent time together. I was wrong, because once we moved in together, the fights got worse. Nellie would complain from Megan throwing away stuff of hers just because she thought it didn't belong there. It's been basically a mouse and cat game, and I've lost track on who's right and who's wrong. I did try to establish some boundaries to try to bring back peace to my home, and had them agree that each stays in their own lane and not bother each other. Nellie said that I was wrong to think that what Megan is doing is okay, but I told her to let it slide. Nellie has a special type of hair care products for her sensitive hair. Shampoo, conditioner, etc., etc. She put them in the bathroom, but Megan ended up throwing them away, saying that Nellie had no right to store her products in the bathroom because it's not her house. To keep the peace, I asked Nellie to just keep her stuff in the bedroom and take it with her whenever she wants to take a shower, to which she agreed. Last night, Nellie took a shower and forgot her hair products in the bathroom. Megan ended up going in there and then the shampoo collection was gone. Nellie freaked out and then had a fight after Megan told her she dumped them out, saying she already warned her about leaving her stuff laying around in the bathroom. Nellie broke down, and when I said I chose to stay out of this because of how petty it was, she blew up at me. She yelled about how I keep letting Megan get away with bad attitude and unjustified misbehavior. Told me to stop enabling her and start setting consequences for her actions. I told her she should have been more careful knowing how Megan is, so I feel like this was preventable. But she said that she forgot her stuff there. I didn't think Megan would go that far. We had an argument, and that was it. Megan is acting nonchalant despite me talking to her, and Nellie went to stay with her parents, saying I need to step up and do something. Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole here, absolutely. She's your child. You should be acting like a parent. Why would you act like they should work it out when it's literally your house and your child? God, I hope she leaves him. You're the a-hole. Seriously, can you imagine having a partner like this? Not only does Opie have zero control over his awfully entitled bully of a daughter, but he refuses to even acknowledge that there's any sort of problem with her treatment of his wife. Opie is so the a-hole, it's unreal. Stuff like this is how some people get anxiety disorders. You're the a-hole. You need to grow some balls and step up. Your daughter is literally tormenting your wife and you're allowing it to happen. Your wife lives there. She should be allowed to keep her stuff in the bathroom. It isn't a hostel. It's her house. Fix this. You are in the wrong. Man up and fix this. A hostel is a good comparison. I immediately thought of college dorm days and having to carry stuff back and forth in a little bucket. Lol. You're the a-hole. Prepare to be a divorcee. Yep. Opie is definitely the a-hole. Just wow. You are enabling and allowing your child to dominate the situation, act out, and get away with bad behavior. You're not just staying out of it. You're running away from your actual responsibilities. You're the a-hole, big time. And also, grow a pair and deal with the situation in an appropriate manner. Bad behavior should have appropriate consequences. Edited to add, you told your wife she should take her products out of the bathroom and keep it in her room? Like, what? Is this a public restroom? Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother and sister-in-law it's good they can't have children? I'm 37 male, my wife is 38 female. We have 2 kids, aged 17 and 4. Neither were planned, but we are happy we have them both. Our 17-year-old has cerebral palsy and is in a wheelchair. He can dress himself, he talks. A bit hard to understand at first, but you can understand him fine if you put a little effort into it. He does great in school and is a great kid. My brother and his wife can't have kids. They have been through a lot of IVF and other treatments, but it hasn't been successful. I know they are both devastated about it, especially my sister-in-law. We were all at my mother's house for dinner the other night, and brother and sister-in-law were telling us about their last unsuccessful round of IVF and said that this might be it, and they probably won't try again. We all said we are sorry about that and that it must be awful. Later that evening, my mom was asking my 17-year-old about his plans for the future, etc. How is school going? Does he have a girlfriend? Does he like any girls, etc.? Typical grandma stuff, lol. My sister-in-law then said, "Can he even date?" to me. My son didn't hear it, and I looked at her and just said, "What?" She then said, "Well, he'll be on your care forever. Do you really want him to bring a woman into that?" I asked her to stop, but my brother said she's just asking a question. At that point, everyone heard us talking. Sister-in-law then said to me and my wife, "I didn't mean to offend you. It's just that a slow child might be too much work on their own, without dating and stuff." I loudly replied, "Our son is not slow, and you are way out of line here." She then said to me, "Relax, please." Jeez, I thought you had more patience since you were raising a retarded child. I lost it and said, "You know what? It's a good thing you can't have children, because you would have been a terrible mother." She broke down crying. My brother called me an a-hole. The headline had me at first, but nope. Not an a-hole. You clearly wasn't in the wrong at all. Harsh? Absolutely. But wrong? Nope. Yeah, I was on the fence until she dropped the R-bomb. Same. I could kind of excuse her initial question about dating, but to then start throwing insults? No. Not the a-hole. She hasn't even done any real research into cerebral palsy and thinks it's okay to just spout off things she doesn't understand. Maybe what you said was harsh in the moment, but she was being cruel and ableist in front of your child. I hate when people talk like the person they're talking about isn't there. I'd love to see the look on Opie's sister-in-law if she heard that my stepdad has cerebral palsy. Not only did he date, he raised me and is a computer programmer who used to work at Intel. Opie absolutely not the a-hole. If that's how she views your child, then she lacks the compassion and patience to be a parent. One of the managers at my old workplace has cerebral palsy. The only impairment he has compared to others is that he uses a wheelchair. Opie's sister-in-law is a massive a-hole. Imagine one of your nieces or nephews being disabled and doing literally no research into it.